給料を弾んでくれないかな。買いたいものが山ほどある。
この研究は確かに将来性がありますね。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？
あのさ、一緒にショッピングに行かないか？面白いもんを見せてやるよ。でもあんま人目につかないようにな。
この研究は確かに将来性がありますね。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？
なんだ、最近はどこも仕事が多いって話なのに。
姉さん、もっと給料を弾んでくれないかな。買いたいものが山ほどある。
響け格のね。
もうええ。
土に寝よう。契約を果たせ。シトラリー、いつか
飛ぶか。撃て。
手加減なしよ。悪用の力を思い知りなさい。じゃあ行くよ。
くれ。引け。太陽の方向を。止める勇気はあるか。烈日よ。
さあ働きなさい。口封じは任せたからね。
分け山の地。
消え失せろ。はっ。もうええよ。
悪用の力を思い知りなさい。
石煙に葬られよ。せいせい。 ひゅっ。
気をつけて。
捕まえた。せっはっせっ。糸よ工作せよ。ふっはっふっはっせっ。稲光すなわち永遠なり。やっそっはっはっせっ。ふんやったとはっ。見切りました。
食前に会う。ファッションは私が定義する。そこ。ほっヤッホーせっはっよっほっヤッホーガンのように羽ばたけ。低温調理。はっせっ。星と深淵。無事今日の依頼を。星と深淵を。
やっぱりモコモコたちが。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません
Okay, so this should be. Oh wait, no, there's another one over here. Oh no, it's the dice one I can do again. I already won the dice game, so I guess. I guess that's the last one.
別に不公平ってわけでもないだ。お前の声は直接頭の中に入ってくる。魔法って言葉だけで納得すると思うか？
何かあったの？
おっと、コロンビーナ。なんでもない。気にしない。
Wait, why can't you just explain it as magic? That you can, why can't you just say telepathy is magic?
あら、ちょうどいいところに来てくれたわ。不公平じゃないって言い張るこちらの騎士がどうにも納得のいく答えをくれないの。
たく、ニコさんのためにわざわざフラッグシップから出てきたっつうのに。
何の話？アリスと似た原理の遠隔操作術を使ってドドコの姿でお祭りに来たのだけれど。ああ、先に言っておくと、まるっきり同じ術って。アリスはドドコに魔女らしい優雅で神秘的な雰囲気をまとわせるために体の向きに合わせ、正直無駄な努力だと思うけれど、むしろドドコの尻尾を凝視している人がいたら不審者でしかないわ。
Very true.
話がそれてしまったわね。アリスのドドコが子供たちと遊んでもいいなら私だって許されるはずよね。ニコさんの声が頭に。
俺見ろ。俺ニコさん？
納得いかない。確かに今の私はラダをこねる子供みたいだということは分かっているわ。むしろ恥ずかしいことをしている自覚だってあるけれど、一度口にしてしまった以上今さら引っ込めても恥の上塗りでしかないわ。ああ、子供みたいっていうのはあくまで比喩であって、実際の年齢はあなたたちよりもずっと上だからね。ニコさんが用意したゲームを。ゲームそのものは重要じゃないわ。アリスに借りた既製品に過ぎない。それよりも景品を受け取った時の感想が知りたい。ずっと我慢していたのよ。このこうしてようやく宝物を渡すのにちょうどいいお祭りの日が来たっていう。遊んでみてもいい？景品をもらいいの？うん。そうと決まれば早速。
男一人。完全に蚊帳の。
Yeah, people were like complaining that like she didn't speak. I mean, it could be obviously that they just don't have the voice actor lined up for them. I could also see just her never speaking, right? Because remember, like angels are basically Seelies, and they're not human either. So it could be that they were never designed to speak. You know, if they were always like, because if you think about it, like angels typically in like mythos and stuff like that are servants of God, right? Now, obviously, we have famous angels who speak. Like Metatron is quite literally the voice of God, right? So obviously, he has to speak. But the idea is that they're servants of God. You know, sometimes, like if they're just literally servants, like butlers and maids, like would you design them to speak? Like, do you really need them to speak? Right? Not really. Not that, you might have designed them not to be able to speak verbally, and just do it through the mind because it's, less annoying for you, right? You might be like, yeah, I don't want you to speak verbally. I just want you to speak telepathically. And it could have just been like that, right? So, I'm fine with her not speaking and just doing it through telepathy. It's whatever.
おめでとう、コロンビーナさん。あなたは
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I got 2,000 points. What's where you're supposed to? What are you supposed to get?
運命？そこは気にしないで。もっと詩的な言葉がお好きなら、なんならどこに変えても構わない。細部にこだわる必要はないわ。さあ、私の期待はこの中に詰まっているわ。開けていい？ええ、早く開けてみて。わあ、古風で可愛い。コロンビーナさん、貴重な時間を割いてお願いを聞いて。みんなが私のためにいろいろし。
Okay, so that should be it. Oh, okay, so now I get the little booklet. Now that I guess I've done everything. Oh, can I give him candy?
黙っていな。アルベド？
この絵をファル。
プレゼント。
冷たくあしらわれた北風さ。どうも。
あ、そうだ、
これはレモン味かな。今度試してみよ
う。黙っていな。アルベド？
この絵をファル。冷たくあしらわれた北風さ。
俺の分もあるのか。この味覚えがあるな。ああ、思い出した。ハーベスト・オブ・ザ・デイ味だな、これ。つうことは今日の狂月の禅をもらったのと同じってことだ。
あら、十分私を喜ばせてくれたから無理こう。
Oh, I can give them candy too. Nice.
包み紙の色が素敵だし、見た目と味は関係ないと分かっていても、目で得た情報、最も気に入ったものを。あら、こっちも素敵ね。
まさか死にコロンビーナがいや、いくら心配しても。おや、年寄りはもう年ただ。
もう一回お魚をドカーンじゃなくて、悪いお魚を追い払うゲームがしたいのかしら。まあ、こんな形の早速いただくね。ありがとう。このキャンディーをたくさんの人。
Okay, so I think that's it. I've given everyone candy. I've done everything. Okay, I've given everyone candy. Done all the stalls, so I guess this is it then. Wrap this up.
旅人。あ、コロンビーナ。もうせっかくの期月の夜だし、もっと今の気持ちは。ありがとう。でも大事な思い出が。本当にもういいのか？大丈夫。
Oh, wow, they even give me a chance. Just in case people accidentally click the, oh, whoops, I want to quit. I mean, it makes sense, because, like, this is something you'll never be able to redo again. It's not like other shit, where it's like, oh, like, this is part of the Archon quest, you can't redo Archon quest, so if you leave early... So it seems like there were a few things you absolutely had to do. Like, you have to talk with the three witches, and it looked like, I think the candy seller was one of the other ones. So realistically, if you had done the three witches and the candy seller, and that's it, and nothing else, then then you could quit early and miss all the other shit.
どこへ行ってもお帰りなさいって言ってもらえて、知り合いと会えるこの夜が。そうだな。そうだね。私。あ、期月。ああ、見て見て。
期月の夜。
月が本当に綺麗。
良い月よ。
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 Pop in there with a little shit. I wonder if it's because I was going too quickly and just giving it. Maybe they expect. Maybe they're loading assets for the next scene while you're dealing with the current scene. Because I was just blasting through. Because what they were saying was a quick one-liner, super easy to read.
そうね。そろそろ時間だね。
コロンビーナさん、行ってしまうのだね。
うん。みんなの言う遺跡に。待って。多いの？せめてうちのクルムかけだけでも月に。
何も言わずに別れるのは非分の館らしくない。物語にはきちんとピリオドを打たなきゃ。
ネフェル。
ライトキーパーも別れの挨拶を大事にしています。次の再
大げさな別れのこと。
Okay. So what I had said before is I know that Doctoria is going to be the next fight, right? I know he's going to be the next weekly boss that's going to unlock next patch. I know this because I've seen the fact that his materials are popping up for the ascension of characters, and I saw a screenshot of him like in an arena. So it's like, okay, yeah. So he's the next fight. So the question, of course, how does he get involved? Now they did foreshadow his involvement, right? They did talk about how he was, skulking around earlier while all our shit was going on, defeating Rear. So the question is, like, what was he doing, right? Now, supposedly he's been called away by the Tsaritsa, but, he might have gone back, but he might have also escaped. He might have presented another reason to leave, and maybe gave a reason to, I'm going to go to non-Nod Cry, and then just still comes here anyway. Or he could present a valid reason to go back to Nod Cry itself. Either way, I was thinking the easiest way at the moment to kind of get him involved at the moment would be if what Doctoria was doing was setting up something to capture Columbina, right? So my thought is that maybe he predicted that she would try to attempt to go back to the moon on a night like this, so he set up a trap. And so when she tries to go up into the sky to go back to the moon, she'll be snatched up. And her being snatched is what pisses us off and makes us go after Doctoria in the next patch, right? So it seems unlikely because usually they don't leave patches like that. They usually don't leave cliffhangers like that. Usually there might be cliffhangers between Axum and Archon Quest, but usually they're cliffhangers that happen. So like this patch came out with Act 5 and 6. So they might put a cliffhanger at Act 5 because you're going to resolve it in Act 6, So usually they group together the Archon acts, so that there's never a cliffhanger. It's never like, oh, well, Act 6 is a cliffhanger, and now you have to wait till the next patch. I can't remember a time when they've ever really done that. I guess technically Inazuma, kinda. You know, we got bitch slapped out of Inazuma when the Archon attacked us, and we didn't resolve her shit until Act 3, which was the next patch. So, maybe something like that, right? You know, just because they rarely do it doesn't mean they won't. So, but yeah, so my guess is that Victoria is going to do something that's going to sabotage her return. And also because, like, she's a playable character next patch, right? So it's like, there has to be some valid reason that she's here, right? There has to be some valid reason that she, is still back. Wow, this is a pretty good image. Jesus Christ, look at Varka. Wait, did Varka draw that, or was that Albedo? Because that looks like an Albedo drawing. But yeah, I do like how they all have different styles. So presumably, Aino drew her own. It's crazy how most of them have pretty good. Actually, no, I guess Albedo's one does look like Albedo's too. It means Varka is a really good artist then, because like Albedo's obviously is very well drawn as well, and it is funny that like Flynn's isn't, because he's like, you know, Flynn's isn't super well done, so isn't Aino's. Arlecchino's pretty classy. But yeah, I guess, did Nicole draw that, or did Alice? Who drew that one? But yeah, really cute, really nice. Oh, Jesus Christ, like, maybe you don't have a white background and you have a bunch of white text, so you can't fucking see that shit at all. You did mention that you'd like a portrait done, so I took the liberty of creating one for you. Oh, no, okay, so it was Albedo then. Oh, or maybe... I was thinking maybe he drew Avarka, but maybe not. Maybe he drew Columbina then. Yeah, so maybe Albedo was the one who drew Columbina's one.
僕はアルベドさんを描かせていただきました。そして僕のことはファルカさん。
Oh, interesting. Oh, I see. So, well, maybe not everyone, but people drew other people's pictures. So the reason why Flynn sucks is not because Flynn's drew it, it's because Varka drew it, and Varka sucks. So Albedo did Columbina, Flynn's did Albedo. Jesus Christ, Flynn's a really good artist then. And Varka did Flynn's. Who did Varka then? Or did Varka also do?
どうだ、自信作だ。
私はアシュルを描いたよ。あんた。
まさか真面目にだよそれ恥ずかしい
Oh yeah, that is her whole body. I wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, those are her feet over there. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, there's Chibidur, and it's obviously supposed to represent... Oh, I see. That's the Wanderer. The cat is the Wanderer. That's funny.
カサッチと僕は
それに魔女2人とあるカードを見てくれ、はあ、嬉しい。みんなありがとう。この季月の夜に受け取ったものはどれも私の人生の中で一番の贈り物だよ。あ、ラウマ、覚えてる？昔蒼月の子って
かなり昔のことではあるが、それがどうしたのだろうか。
Use milk as invisible ink. That's weird.
その透明な文字から。
Or is it the protein in the milk? Means that if you like shine light on it, basically it creates a little layer of like residue that if you shine light on, it'll.
ああ、でもその文字、私たちは
簡単だよ。月が輝く夜に窓を開ければ、
コロンビーナさんらしいメッセージの残し方ですね。
できるだけみんなが寝るとき邪魔にならない場所に浮かび上がるように。
夢の世界に入る前にコロンビーナさんのメッセージ。
そうそう、その時は無事に月に着いたことを教えてくれよ。絶対だからな。うん。
ではコロンビーナ、
準備はできてるよ。うん。もうすぐ帰れるんだ。月には何があるんだろう。本当にみんなにメッセージを送れる。
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say, right? Like, one would assume no, right? So there is a false sky. Like, if the light of the moon can't even, because it depends, like, right? So, like, we saw the moon, right? We saw the moon in the sky as part of that, but, like, was that the actual moon? Was that the only frost moon remaining? You know? And was that the actual moonlight, right? Because it might not be the moonlight, right? It could be. It could be that the moon being just like, so it could be like one of two things, right? It could be a completely fake moon. It's just an LED on the night sky, and because they do say that the moon, that moon isn't the right moon. They said that before, but the question is the light emanating from that moon the right light, right? Because if the real moon is just chilling behind the night sky and still glowing, it could be that the moonlight from that moon is being plastered against the false sky, and the current moon is just kind of like a translucent barrier. It's just, which is just letting the frost moon's light just get in, right? So rather than the moon in the false sky being a generator of light, it could just be a clear film that's allowing the natural moonlight to come through. But the moon is not directly behind it, right? So it's not like you can see through that fake moon and see the real one. It's just like the real moon's off to the side somewhere, and the light is just still being, passed through when it bounces off the light barrier, in the false sky, perhaps. Anyway, we'll see. Oh yeah, I was gonna say why did Sandrone not show up? Because I was thinking both Harbingers showed up. I'm like, oh yeah. She showed up because she needs to use the moon arrow, just like we do. Just beg the question of, like, how did they do this back then, right? Like, wasn't the I guess maybe the Red Moon, Arlecchino's moon marrow, maybe that one wasn't sealed away. Maybe that only became especially corrupted after the Red Moon Conran started doing shit. Because, like, this was relatively soon after, so maybe it wasn't super corrupted. And so maybe they were able to use it. But then, hell, who knows? Maybe even using it to bridge the connection, linked it with the shattered abyss-soaked remnants of its moon, which led the marrow to being corrupted.
今はナシャタウンが一番そうだな。お前も大丈夫だよ。最後の、そして唯一の荷物を持っていけるから、私は満足。 月からの呼びかけを感じる。
コロンビーナ、君の家はあの光の向こうにある。
これでようやく本当の月に。
コロンビーナ、うん。もし機会があったら。この星にはコロンビーナを思ってる友達がいることを。うん。忘れないよ。
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, dude, like, the odds of her actually having a chance to come back are so infinitesimally small.
あと、これも覚えておいてほしいな。昼も、夜も、じゃあ、さようなら。ありがとう。テイワットで一番楽しい夜だった。またね、コロンビーナ。
ほう、月は我々とこうも近かったのか。
Called it. Called it. Fucking Doctore. Knew it.
ここに3つの月が集まり、実験は最終段階に入る。世界の断りも生も死も時も空も。
Oh no, we're not fighting now, right? Yeah, I so fucking called it. I said he would fucking try to trap her on, or stop her. It's weird that the moon marrows, like, how was he able to extract them from there? Were they actually being traveled up with him? They were. I thought they were all opening up the gate. Yeah, I was wondering if I don't quite understand that though. Like, is she just teleporting away? Is that what it was? I mean, she just teleported away, right? Like, she opened a moon gate, so the question is, but that's the weird thing, is like, she opened a moon gate, right? And So the idea would be that she's teleporting back to the moon, right? Because that's how what we did for Rary, right? We teleported him away, and we sent him beyond the false sky. But then, if beyond the false sky is where she was trying to go, right? And so if beyond the false sky was where she's trying to go, then you would think her not being able to return. She's like, or does she mean not be able to return here? Basically, by using the moon gate, she would no longer be able to return back to this world. Because it made it seem like she was not able to go back to her moon. It's like, I guess I won't be able to go back home to my moon and then jump through the moon gate. Which would make me think that she didn't teleport to the moon with that moon gate, but I'm not quite sure, actually. It depends on what they mean by that. When she said, I won't be able to return, she meant return here to Tavot, because going through the moon gate means she'll be permanently locked out of Tavot. Whereas if she used the proper gates, she might have been able to return the same pathway, you know? Because maybe the idea is that if she went the proper way, you know, going up and all that shit through the gate, because like obviously Doctoria was able to get the moon marrow, so presumably that means all moon marrow were going with her through the gate. So I guess maybe her idea was that if she had all three moon marrows, she'd be able to reestablish the gate during another moon prayer night and come back down. So her words could mean, yeah. So her words could mean that because she's using the moon gate to go back through the false sky, she won't be able to create a pathway back, and so she's banished forever. Essentially, well, she'll never see us again, which is unfortunate, obviously. Or it could be that she just decided to teleport away anywhere away to another part of Tavot. Actually, no, because like she said, her presence would allow him to use it. So presumably she left. Properly left. I don't know. It's kind of weird because then if she could open the moon gate to just go outside of the thing, why couldn't she do that whenever, right? Because like they were able to do it for Rare. So why couldn't? So presumably they could have used the 3 moon marrow to create a moon gate anyway to escape. I mean, presumably they'll explain that, because like Columbina does become a playable character, so presumably we're going to be able. So there's going to be an explanation of how she comes back.
使えそうな薬を用意してもらった。必要なら飲むといい。あの後、アリスさんと。
But anyway, totally called it. I was saying like, I bet what Doctoria was doing was going to be to try to trap Columbina as she tries to leave, and I was 100% right. Totally called it. Now I thought she would actually stay trapped, right? I thought she would stay trapped, and that would be a cliffhanger of like, oh shit, we have to go rescue her. But I guess, which would be a huge cliffhanger, because you know Columbina was captured, right? It seems like she's not really captured, but it is still a cliffhanger because we don't know what happened to her for real. Like.
ドットーレのやつ、魔女界の意識をよそに向けるために、私はてっきり世界の外から来たアビスの力がまたテイワットに干渉してる。でもドゥリンちゃんたちがナドクラインの虚栄に干渉できたことを知って、
それでも結局僕と。
確かにあなたたちはあの虚栄の結末を。
変数。
そう。例えば本来は知るはずもなかった。もちろん無数の可能性を前にしたらそれは些細なものかもしれない。
So Doctori knew that there was a method of coming back, and he knew that he'd be able to trap that method. So he tried to guide us into finding that information ourselves, so that we would then use that gate to come back.
その大量の変数がこの夜旅人たちが転移のと。
けれどドットーレが一体。
ああ、俺たちはこんな話をしたんだ。
ドットーレは姿を消したが、少なくともコロンビーナは彼の手中に落ちていない。
なんだって？オイラたちは博士が何か力を使った後、コロンビーナと
つまり
I mean, I would assume so. You know? Because it is actually kind of weird, though, because, like, obviously he used the three moons. Why would the three moons be able to affect the natives of Teyvat, right? Well, not really natives anymore. I mean, they were... Oh, I guess maybe they are considered natives now, so maybe the moon's power affects them more than it did in the past when they were more foreign entities to Teyvat than natural. But maybe after living here for thousands of years, now they are heavily under the influence of the native moons. Hard to say. But yeah, presumably us being a descendant. Now the weird thing, of course, is what about Paimon? Isn't Paimon, non-native as well? I guess it could be that she's just too weak, though. And we do have a special power in and of ourselves. Like, we can channel the elements, and Paimon has never shown any ability to do so. So while she might have the latent ability to do that as by nature of what she is, she's just too weak and still got influence. Oh, okay. So that's a separate world then. I thought the Moon Gate was going to. I thought the Moon Gate went to Beyond the False Sky. I didn't realize it was another world entirely.
ということは、3月の出現も月の狩人の出現もドットーレがアリスさんの話によると、彼は自分の運命を超えて神狂気の沙汰としか。
そういえばカサッチは
アリスさんと連絡を取った後、心当たりがあるって言って出かけるとき。
Yeah, presumably he's chasing it. He's probably gonna hunt Doctor to fuck him up. So interesting, yeah. So that could be. So that's why Doctor did his thing on Hat Guy, on Wanderer, because he wanted Wanderer to become a god, and then using that god's powers, he could do another test. What the test is, hard to say. This time he's like, okay, well that failed, so let's try another method. During the time of this, try to collect all the moon marrow, and get the power of the moon to do something.
戻ったよ、コソッチ。シュペルボレイヤの巨栄ともう一度話して、あいつらに通話機の向こうにいるニコと歴史の解釈が一致しているか試させたんだ。
どうなってんだ？
あの巨栄たちが騙されているからさ。あいつらの歴史にはその救世主はそいつらのために偽りの空に、そして奴らは愚かなことに明らかに
シュペルボレイヤの遺跡で巨栄が歴史について語るのを聞いたが、ニコさん。で
もドットーレはあの扉の中に入れないはずだぞ。
そう、あいつは中に入っていない。ニコが言うには、これは同じ時代の巨栄のつまりドットーレが積み重ねた変数は
記憶違いじゃなく改ざんされていた。
これこそドットーレがあらゆる手段を使って築き上げた可能性。そして期月の夜の当日。そ
んなことできる？
正確には月そのものを術式は空爆で月の位置を感知する。偽物の月が天外の蒼月よりもさらに月らしいものであれば、ゲートはコロンビーナを偽物の月に送る。つまりドットーレがコロンビーナを制御下に置いた後も転送の
あの時月髄は私たちの目の前で忽然。
そうしてドットーレを見つ。
Oh, I see. So maybe the moon marrows would have stayed at that thing, but once he captured Columbina, he then drew them from the entry from the teleport start point.
オイラたちこれから
前に女皇陛下に伝えた懸念がやはり現実のものとなったか。陛下の判断を仰ぎたい。私たちを友人とみなしてくれたのはファデュイ執行官の少女ではなくコロンビーナ・ハイポセレ。このような一国を争う状況で女皇陛下がなおも執行官同士の戦いを禁じる。私は自身の心に従いペルベ。
アルレッキ
時間が惜しい。
Wait, against who? Perrier. Oh, I see. She'll fight at she. I thought that said she'll fight. No, she's fight as. She's basically fighting as herself. Is that a real name? I can't remember. It's been a while since I saw Arlecchino's. The Genshin released a video where Arlecchino was a child. Basically, he showed her as a child. He actually even showed her with her hands like that, even as a child. Although weirdly, that doesn't really make sense because she said she's gotten her hands more and more blackened as she's used her power. So it would not make sense for her as a child to be super blackened because she shouldn't have been able to. Well, actually, maybe she used most of her. Maybe she overused her power the most when she was a child and weak, and then as she became an adult and stronger, she didn't need to, and so that was able to stave off the progression of it. Yeah, I guess she could argue that as long as she doesn't use her delusion to fight Doctore, then it'd be fine, because the delusion obviously is power bestowed to her by the Tsaritsa, and would be a representation of her power as the Harbinger. But as long as she doesn't use that, then she's just fighting as herself. Of course, she'd probably be fighting. I mean, of course, Doctore is not gonna pull any punches. So Doctore will probably be using his delusion. But okay, so. I really do like how like back in the day, we would rarely ever use our powers, right? Like back in the day, every now and then we'd use a power or two, but it was mostly be like every fight scene was always just us and our sword. So I really like how these past few cutscenes where we've been in fight scenes, we've actually been using all of our elemental power, right? So we started the fight with our fire blade. We then did our lightning powers to zip around. We did our animo powers. We did our water power. We didn't do Dendro, which was unfortunate. But I mean, I don't know. It's definitely not as visually impressive. And I think the last cutscene we used our Geo power. So like we summoned one of those Geo meteors and shit. So our Geo balls. So I do like that. I think that's really cool how we're actually like using our actual powers and like swapping in between them, because like that is kind of like the thing that separates us from everybody else, is that we can use multiple powers. And while our character, while our playable character can only use them one at a time, and we have to go resonate to swap, so we can never swap mid-battle, which would be a cool thing to do, although it'd be really a pain in the ass to implement. Like how would you trigger a swap, right? And because you have to do it quickly. If you don't do it quickly, it basically defeats the whole purpose of it. But it would be kind of interesting. So, like, obviously we're a sword user, and so I don't think we use the L2 trigger. So they could tie it to that. They could give you the ability to tie, to basically button map for your main character. To be like, okay, sure. You pick a main element, that is your main element character, that is your main element, right? And so square is still basic attack, triangle is your skill, R1, or no, it's R2. No, R1 I think is burst, not R2. But basically, maybe if you hold L2 for only the Traveler, because like if you hold L2 for a bow user, you do a charge shot. You aim down sight your bow for a charge shot. You hold L2 to aim down sights, L2 to aim down sights, R2 to shoot the bow. But what they could do is they could have holding L2 for the Traveler allows you to remap the face buttons. So maybe, now square, triangle, circle, and X, you could remap them to your other Traveler abilities, right? So you could be like, hey, it'd be kind of tough though, because obviously you have to deal with energy. Like, do you have your burst and just using your elemental skills? Like, can you just map all your elemental skills and that's it? And the only burst you can use is what your current element is? Or would you allow the mapping of bursts onto that as well? So you have maybe you could have like 2 or 3 different bursts. You have your main element burst, but then you could put like of your 4 face buttons to remap, you might add another burst on there to be like, hey, yeah, which burst do I want to do? Do I want to do my... Or maybe maybe the face buttons could stay all skills, but if you're holding L2, then R1. So R1 is your elements burst, but you could remap L2 plus R1 to a burst of another element. Because realistically, you probably don't want to have more than one burst, or more than two bursts, because most bursts are kind of shit. Only a few of them are kind of good, and basically you'd never want to use any hydro abilities. But then yeah, you could still use all your skills, right? So you could use the skill from your current element, and then you could remap the face buttons. So holding L2 makes every one of the face buttons, or the face buttons on the right side map to different elemental skills. That would be really cool. It'd be kind of broken though, because obviously you most of the time generate elemental particles when you use your skill. So you basically have you'd never run out of energy. You'd be an energy battery at that point, because you could then just cycle through every single one of your skills. Cycle through the 4 skills on the right side face buttons, plus your normal skill, pressing triangle. And now you're generating 5 elemental skills worth of energy, which would top you off 100%. You're probably going to be always waiting on cooldown for your burst to be able to use. But more importantly, for other users, they're going to get a big pile of energy from using these skills. Actually, that would still be worth it, though, because the Traveler generally is kind of weak. So adding that utility would make them really, really interesting. So I hope at some point they do that. Because right now L2 is only used by bow users. Like, it still maps to something. I think if you press L2, it counts as an attack, I think. I think you just do your basic attack, but like, you have another button mapped to basic attack, so you don't really need it. You could just unbind it from basic attack. And like, it'd be something that'd be unique to the Traveler. So only for the Traveler, they wouldn't even have to change the behavior for any other characters. You would just change it for the Traveler. Anyway, sorry, that's a bit of an aside. Let's continue on.
ドットーレは騎士なら誰もが忌み嫌うよう魔女ですらあいつが変数を使って運命を変えたっていうテイワットの運命は決まってるといろんな人から聞いてきたそれは確かに事実だしだがどうしてあいつが変数を積み重ねられるならお前までそんな落ち込んでどうする遠路はるばる
Well, I mean, like, despite all his stacking of variables, he's still technically lost, right? Now, like, basically, once Columbina left, he was no longer able to use her as a conduit to use the other Moonmeros, and so they basically suppressed him and fucked off. It's very unlikely that he was able to save them, like, keep them. So the Moonmeros are somewhere. Now, he might go, maybe they just fell somewhere else, like, we don't really know where they are at the moment. So it could be that when he exploded, they got blasted off like a Dragon Ball, and now we have to go find them again. And so, of course, Doctor could do that first. Have the upper hand. But realistically, it's like, yes, we have to go find the Moonmeros first. Just to make sure that he doesn't do this again. As long as we have possession of the Moonmeros, at least stymie his plans. Because the unfortunate thing is that sure, we kicked him out of the Moon Gate, but Rarier himself went beyond the Moon Gate, right? Because Thelindus went beyond it, so did Rarier, and Rarier eventually came back. So, and if Doctor was in any way part of that plan, then presumably Doctor knows a little bit about the world that the Moon Gate takes them to. And he might be able to summon back Columbina that way. I mean, to be fair, that's probably how we're going to get her too. Maybe that's the whole point, is that Doctor will find her, and when we find him, he'll have already extracted her back from that world, and is starting to try to re-implement his plan, using her to try to find the missing Moonmero to re-establish his connection. Hard to say. It still might not work, because I presumably it needed all the ambient Kuvaki that was present during that night to be successful. So even if you do capture her, chances are you missed your moment. Although he's lived for hundreds of years, so he might be fine just chilling and waiting for the next Moon Prayer Festival to reattempt it.
だが、そのまま肘掛け椅子に座って倒れてもすぐに立ち上がる。これぞ騎士道だ。栄誉騎士、お前は立派なモンドの騎士だろ？
カの言う通りだ。ドットーレをボコボコにしてやろうぜ。今まで受けた
他の奴らは
私は空爆でコロンビーナさんの行方をなどくらいで起きたことなら非分の
I mean, the fact is, we know, well, I mean, Nefer knows. I don't know if she told us everything that happened in there, but Nefer knows that both Felindus and Rayrir went into the Moongate before, right? Now, it could, and presumably, I mean, actually, I don't know. Did Rayrir do any other shit because supposedly he did that immediately, right? He came back after they'd killed the king, they'd taken the Abyss powers, he got the Abyss powers, and then he went right back to go through the Moongate. Now, did he do that immediately? And then get immediately fucked? Like, because his existence was almost shredded to nothingness the last time he went into that world, right? So the question is, like, is it just a natural resistance to who he is? You know, the Abyss power within him basically triggered a defense mechanism and fucked him over? In which case, kicking through the gate will shred his existence once more? Hard to say. But then it also is, like, kind of questionable, because, like, if he was in the Moongate and his existence was already shredded at that point, like, if that was the first thing he did, right? He got his Abyss powers right at the start and then jumped through the Moongate and he got shredded immediately, then it's weird that he has the Curse of Immortality, because presumably because I thought the Curse of Immortality was something that was only granted when Conria was destroyed. So it doesn't make sense for it to have happened at that time, right? Because it's not like they got the Abyss powers and then immediately the gods showed up. I would think that they got the Abyss powers, started to do some experiments and stuff, and then the experiments and what they did with the Abyss powers pissed off the gods and got them to act. In which case there should have been some time that happened between that, and Rayrir would have had to have been alive at that point when the goddesses appeared and gave them the Curse of Immortality before going into the Moongate. So it's hard to say, right? Like, they are goddesses, so maybe even within the Moongate they were still able to afflict him. But then, you know, it does beg the question of when he got shredded. The whole thought was that the second he went through the Moongate, his existence got shredded. And that's why he wasn't able to find Felindus and do anything. But who knows? We'll see. Obviously, we're going to have to learn a little bit more about the world the Moongate goes to, because Colomina is going to be a playable character, so she has to come out of there somehow. And so we might learn a little bit more. Maybe we're going to be able to open up the Moongate ourselves, and one part of the Archon quest next patch will be maybe finding Doctori, beating the shit out of him, and then using his equipment to create it. Like, maybe he already has the equipment to make a Moongate, so we just got to beat the shit out of him and then use that to go in and find Colomina. And then we might learn a little bit more about, you know, what exactly happened in there.
カチャカチャくるむかけ工房も全力で支援します。
アリスさんとニコさんはテイワットの教会で突然起きた。二人ともすごく怒ってたよ。僕とアルベドは魔女会の代理人と。
準備はいいかい？いろいろと調査が必要だ。
僕はドットーレの手口を知っているから。彼の次。
よし。
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar, so I can predict his next move. Oh, you mean like the next move that he just stole Columbina? Good job predicting that. Like, but no. I mean, to be fair, Doctori left, and presumably, like, that explosion did injure him in some way, right? He was like, "Oh fuck!" He's something he did to basically break the connection that he had with the Moon Marrows, which was suppressing him. So presumably that will injure him. So he's going to go to some place of refuge. Now, would Wanderer be aware of what those places are? Maybe. Like, it seems like Doctori was the one he knew the most of all the Harbingers. So it's possible that during Doctori's experiments with the Wanderer might have gleaned a few of his safe houses in Nodcry. Maybe. We'll see.
俺はフリンズとイルーガに連絡して、ライトキーパーに味方になってもらえるよう、マスターライトキーパーを説得してほしいと伝える。同時に、ナドくらいのセピロス騎士にも指示を出す。ライトキーパー。
そうだ。
Yeah, I am curious what his fight is going to be like, what his mechanics are going to be. Because that fight looked really cool. I assume he's going to have like little bits like that as well, that shoot lasers and shit. So, But yeah, it'll be interesting.
Colombina 私の本、それはファデュイの。あとこれも覚えておいてほしいな。
Okay, I mean, damn. So, oh shit. I was gonna say, yeah, like they rarely. I was gonna think that maybe they were gonna actually resolve it. I mean, technically, it's kind of resolved in the sense that they did wrap it up with a bow and be like, yes, we need to do some investigation and shit before we then hunt down. While we hunt down Doctore, obviously, perfect reason for between a patch. Like, yeah, sure. Obviously, it's not gonna happen right away. So this, but it is a, yeah, like like, is that actually true? Did she actually get shredded like that? Is that what happened to? Wait, what? Oh yeah, that was my previous quest. Oh, what the fuck? Seriously? It takes 5 days to do this? That is trash. Now, to be fair, they do warn you, so that's fine, I guess. But still, Jesus Christ, really? That's kind of a dick move. To be like, oh, that counted as a domain, that's funny. Let's see. I do like that they actually are recognizing that that after accepting a quest, you might go into the inventory or open up a menu or something. Because before, basically, when Paimon starts the intro like this, before it'd be like, oh, you open a menu? Sorry, that quest, that dialogue is now gone. Like, basically, the quest would trigger the dialogue, but then that would be it. So if you go into a menu and come back out, the trigger has already happened, accepting the quest. And so you cut off the dialogue, but there's no trigger. So basically what they did was like, oh, actually, let's monitor this event and see, oh, you interrupted this quest? Okay, let's re-trigger the thingy again. That's nice. Oh, wow. Nice. Wait. Oh, shit. Could I have not done that, maybe? Like, it's like there were some things I don't think were absolutely required. Maybe if I did the witches and did the candy cellar, maybe they would have then made all the other stalls required. I'm not sure. But either way. Okay. Finch ball. Jesus Christ, you have to say it tomorrow. Fuck. Guess I'll do that tomorrow morning. I could just say logged in. I need to get food and a shower, but I could just stay logged in just to do it. Wait anyway. So I think I'll do that, actually. I'll just wait a little bit so I can condense another resin. And then condense a resin so I can get my final little reward for today. And then do all of Finchball. Get that done so I don't have to worry about it. And then tomorrow I will start Durin's quest. Because it seems like they require 5 days, which is weird. Like, there have been times they've done that, like in Azuma, where it's like you did one, but it was like separate. I think it was separate world quests. You completed one world quest. And then you went back the next day, and there was a new world quest for it, and you had to do that for a few days because it was like, oh, okay, do this little thing, check this energy levels, come back. Cool. Now I'm gonna take a look at it, then move on. So anyway, yeah. So I'll finish up Finchball, and so tomorrow I will start Durin's quest, There's one, I want to make sure I get those rewards first, because last time for Nefer, basically because I was like just so gung-ho about leveling her up, I completely leveled her up, and then only later did I do her world quest. Or I forget what her thing was. Maybe doing the Archon quest was what gave you this, or maybe it was doing the other event. Either way, basically, I got her rewards because this is supposedly enough to get her to level 50 or 60 or something like that. Those are the essential materials that you need to get to level 60, I think. But basically, since I had already maxed her out, she was level 90, she couldn't use the essential materials. Those like those 6 little things that you need, those 6 purple items. She had already fully ascended, so she didn't need them. Now, obviously, the next person who needs Nefer's items is going to have an advantage and have a step up, and I can get them to 60. But yeah, it was like, oh shit. So before I ascend my Durin to max level, I want to get this first, so I don't have to, so I can save some time on some of the shit. But anyway, but yeah, that was pretty cool. Totally called it. Totally called. I mean, yeah, knowing because it was just how I was inferring it, right? Because like I knew the Doctor would be the next fight in the next patch, so I was like, well, what possible way could we initiate a fight? It's like, well, it seems very likely that the way to trigger a fight and a confrontation would be him trying to capture Columbina. It is really curious what he's trying to do. Is he trying to defy fate? Maybe that's it. Maybe he is actually trying for immortality. Like, he's lived for hundreds of years, but maybe that's all been done through science and other shenanigans. And so it could be that he's actually trying to become a god, to become immortal, because immortality is just a classic, right? It's a classic mad scientist thing. Presumably in the fight with him, we might learn a little bit more about his motivations. We'll see. But anyway, I will be right back. I need to go shower, and I'm going to microwave something for me to eat. And then I will complete Finchball, so I don't have that hanging over my head. And then I will hop into Zenless to spend my resin real quick. And then I will start, and we'll see how far I can get into the Indiana Jones DLC. I got Platinum in Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The DLC came out in September, but when that was happening, it was a few weeks before Borderlands 4 was coming out, and I was doing my Borderlands franchise run, so I played through Borderlands 1, 2, 3 in the pre-sequel, and the 2 Tales of games before Borderlands 4. So I still have Borderlands 4 to do. Or, I mean, so I was doing that, so I put off the DLC, and then Borderlands 4 came out, so I started playing that, and then at the end of September, Evil's Chronicles came out, so I played a little bit of that, wasted a little bit of time on that, and then Ghost of Yotei came out, and like, fuck, I'll do that, because, you know, obviously there's a lot of contention around that, so I'm like, I'll give it a shot for myself, and it was a really fun game. I beat it, and it only so basically, because I had too many games, like, because I was doing Borderlands and Ghost of Yotei, as my like main action games and stuff, while also doing all my gacha shit, I just couldn't get either of them done, and then Borderlands 4 is so... Like I've spent over 100 hours in Borderlands 4. I think it's like 160 or something, and I still haven't fully completed all the exploration content. So like I still haven't finished up all the side quests in Carcadia Burn. So it's just like, yeah. So, but I did finish Ghost of Yotei, so now I have a little bit of wiggle room. Because obviously sometimes I just don't feel like I don't feel in the first person shooter mood, so I don't do it. So now that I have a free slot open for an action game, or at least a main game, I think now is a good time to do the Indiana Jones DLC. Wrap that up. It shouldn't be too long anyway. I think it'll probably be like, I could probably do it today and tomorrow and have it completed. We'll see. I'm not 100% sure. I never really checked the runtime for it. And when I finish that, I either will go back into Evil's Chronicles, Final Fantasy Tactics. I don't know, like, it's the kind of game where it's like, it is really grindy, and I enjoy grinding for it and getting the levels, and like, when I start it, I do get like sucked into it, and like, the time just passes without me thinking about it, but simultaneously, like, once I've taken a break from it, just thinking about going back into it is a little tough, because I'm just like, oh man, it is such a grind, though, and the RNG for some of the moves just sucks so much dick sometimes. It's just like, holy shit, that's fucking annoying. You know, where it's just like, oh yeah, you have a 90% chance of hit. Oh yeah, they parried. Like, I did one single fight, where I had a 90% chance of hitting a character, right? 90%. And I missed 3 individual times during that fight on the same character. So, because like, he had a cloak of evasion, right? And so even though I had a 100% chance of hitting, that 10% gave him a chance of evading. And he didn't evade every single hit, but he was healing himself up. So basically, I was thinking, okay, well, I'll just do one attack to finish him off, and I'll have my other guys do some other shit. Because I was casting spells on him. And so there's a delay in that. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll have my guys cast a spell on him, and my other guys go off and do something else. And because I did that, and then of course he dodged. And that happened 3 fucking times. All with a 90% chance of hit, and he dodged 3 times. And he still kept getting hit, so even though he's healing himself. So it was like, every now, like, so I'd cast 2 spells on him, and like one would hit, bring his health down low, and then he would dodge the next one. And so he wouldn't die. And then he would heal himself up. And I was like, dude, fuck off. It's such a fuck. Yeah, so shit like that really pisses me off in the Final Fantasy Tactics thing, because it's like, it's statistically unlikely for it to happen, right? Like, sure, having it happen once, yeah, sure. It's like a 10% chance of it happening is not crazy low. It's not like insanely low. Missing a 99%, yeah, that's like, what the fuck, right? But like a 10% is not super crazy, but 3 times for one character in a single battle is fucking insane. Like, and it's shit like that happens, and it's just like, it just really kind of makes it frustrating, especially when you're up against like challenging enemies where like every hit really matters. And then of course it's and the whole aspect of the knight powers and stuff, where it's like, oh yeah, this knight can just break your armor and shit. And so it's like your whole point of your game is like, you want to get the really cool armor, and you want to steal the good shit and have the best armor and weapons and stuff in the game. And then you're going against enemies that will just break it. And you're just like, dude, fuck off. That was like fucking unique, and you just fucking broke it, you piece of shit. Like, it's really annoying, because like when you're fighting, you're just gonna have lots of enemies that just have these abilities, and you have to do this fight. And of course, like, especially when they're like and the chances are always super low. So if you ever do it on them, it's always like oh yeah, you tried it on them. Well, it sucks to be you, because you have a 40% chance and you miss, but they have a 20% chance and they hit, and they do it like multiple times. It's like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? It's the same kind of thing with Dragon Quest as well, where it's like, yeah, there is an instant death spell, Thwack, and Cuthwack for an AoE, or Cuthwack maybe is just a stronger, higher probability version. I think it's just an AoE. Basically, it's one of those ones where it's like a spell that has a low chance of success. So whenever you try it, it always fails. But then when you're fighting against like hundreds of enemies as you're going through and leveling up, like they might be casting it all the time, but the only time you ever see it work is against you, because you don't cast it because it's such a risk. But when they cast it, eventually they're gonna hit, and it just feels like shit when it happens. Especially because reviving in Dragon Quest is always such a huge pain in the ass. The normal zing, the normal revive, has a 50% chance of success. You have to get Kuzzing to have a 100% chance of working. So it's just like, so not only can you get fucked on by the enemy just fucking you with an instant kill spell, but you could also fail your revive at low levels if you don't have the Kuzzing. It's so annoying. So I've always hated stuff like that, because it never feels good, right? It never feels good that whenever you try things with a low probability, it feels like it fails far more frequently than enemies, because when the enemy fails, you just are kind of like, yeah, and then you just move on. But when the enemy succeeds, it just leaves a more lasting impression on you. And so yeah, it gets tough to play games like that, where it's like it feels like the odds are against you, and so much of it is like random chance like that. Which, I mean, I say that, but like, people play Baldur's Gate 3, people love Baldur's Gate 3, and that's all chances, right? It's all based on like probability and chance. What did you roll? What did your dice roll? That's your damage. That's your miss. It's all that. But I guess at least with Baldur's Gate 3 and other like CRPGs, it is a little more transparent, where it's like, oh, here is your dice roll. You roll the d20. This is the number you got. Oh, it was a 1. You fail. Okay, well, that makes sense. Like, yeah, sure, it's a 5% chance of happening, but it does happen. Sure, that's gonna happen. Yeah. So you see what it is. Whereas like for the other games, it's like for Dragon Quest, you never actually see the percent, like probability of success, and you're not guaranteed that they actually rolled correctly, right? You don't know how they might have weighted it because like we assume that when they say 90%, they mean 90%, but who knows how they actually calculate that 90%, right? Like who knows if there are other, like maybe it does a 90% chance of hit and then it does another roll. Like, oh, okay, you have to roll your 90%, you have to roll to see if you hit, and then they have to roll to see if they evade. Like it could be two separate things, right? So basically, you have a 90% chance of hitting, so they might roll, and you have to get like 90 or below to succeed. And for them, they have to roll 10 or below to see if in which case, that's not a 90%, right? You have a 90% to hit, and they also have an additional chance to block. So even if you do hit, if they have another additional roll to see if they dodge, that's not 90%. That's actually less than 90% because, they're rolling 2 dice. You do. So they have an additional chance to save, essentially, which is not calculated into that 90%. So stuff like that. So we have to assume that things are being done fairly because it's all done beyond on the back end. But chances are it is fair, right? It is actually fair. But the problem is it's the perception of fairness, and yeah. So, and it is silly to say because I'm thinking, oh well, maybe I won't go back into Evil Ace Chronicles and I'll play another game. But the other game I was thinking about playing would be Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, right? Which is like the exact games I was giving in the example of the quote-unquote unfairness of it, right? But at least with Dragon Quest, it is just a turn-based RPG, so there's not like much strategy involved, and so you don't get screwed over like that. Because there definitely are some moments in Evil Ace Chronicles where it's just like, dude, sometimes you just get really fucking unlucky, where it's just like, like I remember, I think at the end of Act 2, I was fighting against the Kuthane, the like demon dude, or the priest who used the powers of the Zodiac to like become a monster, and he like had this huge fucking AOE that casts like poison and sleep or something like that. It was just like, dude, like, that's the start of battle, like, and you can only position your characters in certain spots. So it's like the first time I had them all grouped together and they all got hit, or most of them got hit, and I'm like, oh, okay, so shit, I gotta actually space these guys really far apart as far as I can, so that I can minimize how many people get hit by his attack. But even still, I think 2 people got hit, and luckily one dodged, and the other, one was Doom. So you had to Doom over your head as you're trying to like. It was like Doom and sleep. It was like Doom or sleep. So it's like, okay, sleep is at least better because you can wake up from it, and and not die in 3 turns. But yeah, so it's, oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Like shit like that feels really unfair because like just because of how shit goes down. Whereas like at least with Dragon Quest is like. It's more simple. It's more simplistic, right? It's like you do your turns, they do their turns. You can grind levels to over level enemies, whereas in Tactics you just can't. Like you could over level. It seemed like early on, as the level of the enemies was determined by Ramza's level, but then later I was noticing that even if I kept Ramza artificially low, it seemed to be also taking like the highest. Then it's like after a certain point, it then started taking the level of my highest level character. So I was like, oh shit! So I got to keep them all at least equal level, or else if I bring in a new character who's low level, I'm fucked. Because they'll be so. Oh, well, levels don't matter as much in that game. Like, yeah, it doesn't seem to have as big a difference. Like, the difference in stats for levels is not crazy different. Like, there is some HP differences, but like the actual attack of your character is mostly determined by your weapon. So it's like, yeah, most of your attack comes from your weapon, not from actual stats. Your level seems to only affect your like HP and MP. And again, equipment also heavily affects MP and HP as well. So it's like, you could have your level 13 going in with a fight against level 18s, and as long as they have your best gear, the stats will be relatively the same, so you still can use them. So it's not as huge an issue, but still. But you can't. But basically, it still does mean you can't over level enemies. You can't be like, oh, I'm just gonna grind, get to level 50, and then just blast through the main story because all these characters are like level 20 and 30. You know, no, it's like nope, they've all leveled with you, so you can't just cheese your way through it. Whereas for the Dragon Quest games, like no, you can grind. Like there are, I think Dragon Quest games are a little too grindy. Basically, since they introduced metal slimes, well, metal slimes always existed, but like because of the existence of metal slimes, there was always the peak farming locations where it's like, oh, here's where metal slimes appear. So you fight, trying for hopefully killing one to get huge amounts of experience, and then over level and stuff. But anyway, I'm going to take a short little break, need a shower, get something to eat, and then I will continue Finchball. We'll start Finchball, really.
まだ終わってない鍛造依頼、あと何件あったっけ？一つ、二つ、そんな多くないみたいだし、明日から本気出そっと。ずいぶん走り回ったし、そろそろ休もう。座って休憩。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？
この研究は確かに将来性がありますね。ぜひ食べてみて。下町ではめったに見られない品種も揃ってるわ。
なんだよ、最近はどこも仕事が多いって話なのに俺んとこには全然来ねえぞ。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？
この研究は確かに将来性がありますね。ぜひ食べてみて。下町ではめったに見られない品種も揃ってるわ。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？
なんだよ、最近はどこも仕事が多いって話なのに
まだ終わってない鍛造依頼、あと何件あったっけ？一つ、二つ。そんな多くないみたいだし、明日から本気出そっと。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？
なんだ、最近はどこも仕事が多いって話なのに、俺んとこには全然来ねえぞ。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？
ずいぶん走り回ったし、そろそろ休もう。座って休憩。まだ終わってない鍛造依頼、あと何件あったっけ？一つ、二つ。そんな多くないみたいだし、明日から本気出そっと。
なんだよ、最近はどこも仕事が多いって話なのに、俺んとこには全然来ねえぞ。
ここは冒険者たちが
ちゃベランダの花がまた枯れてる。毎日水やりしてるのに。もしかして逆にやりすぎ？
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？
まだ終わってない鍛造依頼、あと何件あったっけ？一つ、二つ。そんな多くないみたいだし、明日から本気出そっと。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思いません？や
っぱりモコモコダジュにしよう。スネージ内まで荷を運べるし、毛も売れるだろうからな。なんだよ、最近はどこも仕事が多いって話なのに、俺んとこには全然来ねえぞ。
ずいぶん走り回ったし、そろそろ休もう。
ここは冒険者たちが活躍するのにぴったりな場所だと思います。
座って休憩。
Okay, let's do this. Okay, I was thinking that this was gonna be the game we just played with Nicole. Oh, god damn it, that's fucking dog shit. Oh, god damn it. Okay, there we go. All done.
烈日よ、
土見めよ、契約を果たせ。この同点も華やいできましたね。この情景を目にできて 同点についてのご質問でしたら。
Okay, there we go. All done. Yes, that's all I want to do today. So now I'm going to take a short little break, and I'll be back on probably in 10, 20 minutes to start Indiana Jones and the Great Circles DLC. But thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time.